Questo è Rivers. Si trova in una pozza di rifiuti sotto uno degli acquari più grandi del mondo, il Georgia Aquarium. È un lavoraccio. Ma questo non è l'unico. Ci sono molti rifiuti da gestire. Quando questa vasca è piena, può contenere tra i 19 e i 38 mila litri di escrementi che arrivano qui dall'acquario. Ed è il risultato di diverse procedure di pulizia di routine che si svolgono ogni settimana, senza le quali la sicurezza e la salute degli animali sarebbero a rischio. Quando il lavoro di Rivers e del suo team sarà finito, le acque reflue di questa vasca saranno pulite, filtrate e riutilizzate come acqua di rabocco per la principale esposizione dell'acquario, l'Ocean Voyager. E il ciclo di pulizia ricomincerà di nuovo. Ma prima che Rivers possa svolgere il suo compito, bisogna completare altre procedure. Ogni giorno, squadre specializzate si preparano a pulire le centinaia di vasche dell'acquario. Una delle prime zone visitabili dell'acquario è quella dei leoni marini. Qui vive Toby, una foca comune di 127 kg. Prima che i subacquei possano iniziare a pulire il suo habitat, Toby e gli altri leoni marini devono lasciare le piscine. Si sfrutta questo momento per la pesata settimanale.
And if we're talking about dirty jobs, he just urinated on the scale and now we gotta clean it. Side effect of the job.
This pool, it's all sea lion poop. It's all sea lion poop. Everything that she's vacuuming from here is going into that waste basin. So whatever we do in here, the LSS, our life support team, then has to clean up from their end.
Megan Wade guida il team che si occupa della pulizia della zona dei pinnipedi e assiste il team delle operazioni subacquee per la pulizia delle piscine prima dell'arrivo dei visitatori. Questo spazio ospita 14 leoni marini e 3 foche comuni. I leoni marini possono mangiare dal 5 all'8% del loro peso corporeo, rendendo la loro zona una delle più sporche dell'acquario.
Every single morning, we come in first thing and prepare their food. And this is restaurant quality fish. So they get numerous species of fish, about 5 different species. And every single morning, 1 or 2 people will come in and inspect every single fish. So we're looking for missing eyes, missing fins, gills, scrapes, cuts. Anywhere where you're going to see that can breed bacteria. So that fish automatically gets sorted out and we don't use it at all. We weigh out their food into buckets and then we'll look at it again one last time before feeding it to the animals. Once a week, every Wednesday, it's Weigh Day Wednesday. Follow me this way. We have our blue scale right here, and then where the green is lit up is going to tell us how much they weigh. So each sea lion will walk from their habitat down this hallway, will get their weight, and then they'll walk back to their habitat.
Dopo aver nutrito e pesato i leoni marini, Megan e il team iniziano a lavorare sulla pulizia del bordo vasca. Il team si divide tra le piscine interne e quella principale, dove puliscono ogni piccolo angolo.
As soon as you come in the morning, you can usually smell that they have been sleeping overnight. We have high up platforms that they like to sleep on, the rocks, and when you're sleeping and you don't get up to go to the bathroom, it all just sits there. So if we didn't clean every single day, it would be really stinky, kind of an ammonia smell. Also, there's fecal matter as well. We are going to detail this whole area. It gets cleaned every single day, but we detail it once a week, every week. 3 male sea lions and 1 male harbor seal all slept out here last night, so it's probably gonna be pretty messy. The chemicals that we use are to really break up that oil that's on the surface that the sea lions secrete. So it's just soap and water, and then we'll use some chlorhexidine to disinfect the area afterwards. And then down here, Gail has like a nice little hand brush, and she's actually doing one of the dirtiest jobs. She's cleaning the drains. All of this is gonna always be hosed to a drain away from the water the sea lions swim in. She's taking the grates off, cleaning inside the drain so that everything flows nicely each day that we clean. So the drains are part of the detailing. The removal of the net and soaking, that's part of the detailing. Sea lions, when they breathe, sometimes shoot snot out of their nose. So a lot of times in sea lion habitats, you'll see brown snot on the walls. So we'll need to scrub that off too. My favorite part about cleaning the deck is getting to net the poop out of the water, because it just is so reinforcing when you do a good job and you get good at it, so I just love doing it.
Appena Megan e il team dei pinnipedi concludono il loro lavoro, Alex Glick e un gruppo di sub intervengono su ciò che sta sotto all'esposizione dei leoni marini.
Today you're going to start in pool 2 and then do pool 3. This one's vacuuming and floor scrubbing, and then pool 3 will be vacuuming, rock work, and then a final floor scrub. So we do this dive on just normal scuba, even though it's only an 8-foot pool. We still do scuba diving so that you have freedom of movement. This is our vacuum hose. They actually plug this in the water, and we have to make a radio call to our life support system, and they'll turn the vacuum on. So we drop the vacuum head in the water with the hose attached to the diver, and then they will prime the hose to get all of the air out of the line. This pool, it's all sea lion poop. You want to get as much vacuumed up before you start scrubbing the floor.
Questa pulitrice è uno degli strumenti essenziali che i sub utilizzano per pulire accuratamente sott'acqua. Un tubo pompa l'acqua attraverso il motore che l'alimenta. L'acqua ad alta pressione facilita la pulizia dei pavimenti e delle pareti. La pulitrice singola ha setole dure e serve per la pulizia delle rocce, mentre quella doppia per pareti e superfici dipinte.
Once she's done vacuuming, I'll give this to her and she will then clean the floor. And she's holding the trigger down and she's just swimming back and forth, doing kind of like a lawnmower motion, cleaning one side to the next to get every single inch of the pool. If she comes across an area that's particularly dirty, she might slow down and spend a little time on it to get up whatever scum is on the bottom and then move on.
I rifiuti animali non si depositano solo sulle superfici e pavimenti dell'habitat, ma si accumulano anche nelle grate e nelle scatole degli schiumatoi. Questi deflussi aiutano a gestire i rifiuti tra le pulizie di routine, così da separare gli animali da una parte dei detriti. Ad Alex e al suo team di subacquei serve circa un'ora per completare il lavoro in entrambe le piscine. Dall'altra parte dell'acquario si trova Ocean Voyager, la più grande esposizione acquatica al coperto negli Stati Uniti. Contiene 23 milioni di litri d'acqua e ospita squali balena, razze e migliaia di altri pesci. Questo spazio dipende in gran parte da un sistema di filtrazione di supporto vitale avanzato, ma si affida comunque a squadre per la manutenzione e la pulizia pratica.
In Ocean Voyager, we have 2 whale sharks. There's Ushan, which is the larger whale shark, and then there's Taroko. Common misconception about whale sharks would be that they're dangerous. The most intimidating thing is they're just big. They just are big, and so like if you're in the way, you just gotta move. They're not out to hurt you. Like their throat is only the size of a quarter. They're very, very docile creatures, and they just want to cruise along. We usually have 4 to 8 divers in our everyday maintenance dive. We clean the windows, so we need our suction cup. We bring what we call a diaper, otherwise it just looks like a rag, and we clean the acrylic windows with that. And then usually we're doing hand scrubbing. They are scrubbing off the algae, and they're kind of basically wafting off all that sand substrate that cakes on and falls over onto those rocks. All that stuff that can grow on there is potentially harmful for all the fish. So the whole goal of cleaning and upkeeping the exhibit isn't necessarily to keep it pretty, even though that is also very beneficial to keep it pretty for the guests, but at the same time there is the purpose of doing it for the health of the exhibit. This is a monster exhibit, so if we didn't do it every day, it'd be pretty much impossible to upkeep. The blitz dives, which are our night dives, that's our essential deep clean. So it can be a couple hours long just to get everything we can done. We can run up to 4 of those Armada machines and clean different areas of the exhibit.
Mentre Ocean Voyager viene pulita, Caroline Murphy e il team di acquariofili si preparano per immergersi nei 3 acquari d'acqua dolce della galleria River Scout. Le vasche più piccole sono profonde 1,2 metri di altezza per 90 centimetri. E il team ci mette 1 o 2 ore ogni settimana a pulire le vetrate e i giardini subacquei.
So despite the size of these tanks, we actually do manage to squeeze some people in there. What we are going to be doing is something called hookah diving. So the divers are getting in very carefully. They're kind of sliding in the top of the tank, and they're going to be holding themselves up in the water column by pressing their feet to opposite sides of the tank or putting them on the outside, the top rim. and they'll kind of hold themselves with their core strength kind of up in the water column to do the work they need to do. So we're focusing on the algae that's growing on the window and the plant leaves, and then also the detritus that's building up in the tanks, and that can be fecals from fish or leftover food.
Il team si tuffa con pochi attrezzi, una spazzola per strofinare, strumenti da taglio e un raschietto per rimuovere le alghe dai vetri. La parte più laboriosa per gli acquariofili in questo acquario è pulire le alghe a barba.
So it is so annoying, and it is something that we tediously tried to keep under control. So you're seeing these little kind of black puffs, and that's what she's targeting right now when she's scraping it off and immediately removing it from the system because it will just spread over everything.
I subacquei usano un sifone gravitazionale per rimuovere i detriti sparsi che si sono depositati sulla ghiaia. Questo non è alimentato dall'elettricità. Si basa solo sulla gravità per aspirare e separare i rifiuti dalla ghiaia.
Algae covering everything doesn't look great, but it also can cause problems for your fish. So algae blooms in the wild can kind of take the oxygen that the fish need out of the system, so it can cause some harm for them that way.
Tutti i rifiuti e i detriti di ogni pulizia finiscono qui. Questo viene pulito ogni 3 o 4 mesi per assicurarsi che non trabocchi, che non ci siano problemi di qualità dell'acqua e che tutti i sistemi funzionino bene.
As you can see, we've got just piles of poop and debris and extra food, stuff that didn't get digested properly, stuff that didn't get eaten, got pulled into filtration. Most of it is just animal waste. There is a little bit of sand, probably about 10 5-gallon buckets or so. The equipment we'll use to clean the basin is a fire hose and a snow shovel.
Pulire questo spazio richiede approssimativamente 2-3 ore e viene fatto in varie fasi. Rimuovono le feci, puliscono i pavimenti e spalano tutta la sabbia.
Once we've gotten the sand out, then we'll go around and inspect the walls, make sure there's no cracks, make sure the waterproofing is still good. So where all the discoloration happens is about where the basin gets. Roughly 55 to 60,000 gallons to a full basin. But other than being gross, the hardest part is definitely getting the sand out, just because we got to lift it 25 feet in the air. So we really only want to fill them about half full. If they were to get too full, they might splat, and they're also just really heavy. Once this basin is full, we will then recirculate all this water and clean this water to reuse it for top-off water for our Ocean Voyager exhibit. After the recovery, all this water is crystal clean.